Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irene. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a chatty one, sharing with you the handbags that I have sold. Now, I have done one of these videos before, I want to say a year or 2 years ago. So if you're interested to see the handbags that I've sold, let's get straight into this video. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Givenchy Antigona Mini. Now, I had this bag in the black boxed leather and it was a beautiful, beautiful handbag. It was one of my dream handbags for a long time. I loved that bag when I bought it. The leather, I highly recommend getting the boxed leather if you're still looking into that bag. Some people are scared of the boxed leather, you know, scratching up because it's such a shiny, reflective leather. I would highly recommend getting the boxed leather. It stands up well over time, way better than the pebbled leather version. But regardless, the reason why I sold it was because I really wasn't reaching for it. If you take a look at that handbag and the dimensions of it, it is a very wide handbag depth-wise. And when you carry it, the top handles, it does have top handles, which I love in all of my handbags. The problem is for the Givenchy Mini Antigona, the top handles were very, very teeny tiny in terms of the hole. Where I live in Canada and it gets very cold a lot of times of the year. So a lot of times I find myself wearing thick winter jackets, winter parkas. So then I find that renders the handles pretty useless. When it comes to the crossbody strap that it comes with, the hooks that it attaches with, it's just a little side slit. It wasn't a D-ring clasp. It wasn't anything secure that would hook on the crossbody strap. It was basically a leather strap. On two ends, there was these, they looked like full hooks, but they weren't, because on each of them, there was one side that had this tiny cutout. And that cutout was where you would just hook it onto the D-ring on the actual bag itself. That hook would come undone, especially if you were to set the purse down on some surface and you grab it by the shoulder bag to pick it up again. I've had it happen to me on multiple occasions where luckily it was only one side. One side of this bag would become unattached, meaning that the bag would fall to the ground. It was very annoying in that sense, especially because I relied on the crossbody strap more so than the top handles to carry it. Another big con for me was that it was a heavy bag. It was boxy. It held a decent amount of stuff, but the problem was the opening was very stiff. It's a very structured handbag, and because of that, the top where you get in and out, it does kind of scratch your hands a little bit when you do put things in and out. And because it is such a stiff, structured bag, it doesn't open up very wide for you to put larger things in it, despite the bag being very boxy and having technically this very promising capacity. It just really didn't perform as well as I would like to and be as carefree to use as I would like. The next bag that I ended up selling was my Palm Springs mini backpack. So I'm actually seeing a lot of these pop up in the resale market nowadays. I think they've kind of had their heyday 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I sold mine because I found myself not reaching for it anymore. I think it has to do with the fact that backpacks are not really my style year round, especially where I live. Like I said, it's winter a lot of times, so I don't typically reach for backpacks. To me, backpacks are for spring, summer. It's really not a bag that I reach for very often, even though technically this bag could be used year round. Just my personal taste. Another thing is I find myself evolving in terms of my handbag choices. I'm just not really gravitating towards so much the mini backpack style. I find that is a very youthful look and it's so cute, it's adorable, but I feel like it's just not me anymore, so I really have not been reaching for it, despite it being a very practical handbag. Honestly, it has a zipper, it holds a water bottle, it holds a really decent amount. Another problem that I found with it is when I did use it, especially I like to use it as a backpack style. I know that you could wear it, you know, multiple different ways. I actually have a video showing you guys how you guys can use and carry your backpack. However, my preferred method for carrying this backpack was as a backpack style. I found that when you carried it crossbody or even as a shoulder bag, just the shape of the bag itself just really, it looked a little bit off to me. I mean, you could totally do it. A lot of people do and it looks cute. So I would prefer wearing it as a backpack. But when I did wear it as a backpack, I always found that maybe I have bad posture, but I always found that the shoulder straps would slip off on me all the time. So it became super annoying and I just never really reached for it. So I ended up selling it. Originally, I was kind of intending to keep it for my daughter, but I'm just like, you know what? I have enough handbags in my collection that I'll have something to pass on to her one day. I don't need to be hanging on to this handbag just for the sole purpose of keeping it for her. The next handbag that I sold is another backpack. It is the Louis Vuitton Montessori BB. I had purchased this for myself as a birthday gift, thinking that it's such a cute bag. I love how it's almost like a bucket style drawstring, but it's a backpack at the same time. You can wear it so many different ways, very similar to the Palm Springs Mini. However, I picked up the version with the vachetta leather because I personally liked the look of the vachetta leather and the canvas more so than the black treated leather with the monogram canvas. So I opted for that version instead. And if you know me, you've seen my videos before, you guys know my hesitation with vachetta leather. I really don't prefer to buy pieces with a lot of vachetta leather. Knowing that piece had two straps for the backpack that are made entirely out of vachetta leather, there were tabs on it that was vachetta leather, it just made me very uncomfortable to even think about wearing it when it was rainy out, which again, backpacks for me are more so a spring summer style of bag. So if I am wearing it in the spring and summer, there's going to be rain at some point, and like, so that really limited the days that I was able to wear this handbag. I really didn't reach for it much because of that reason, and then it just ended up sitting on my shelf. It made me sad looking at it, so I just decided to let it go. The next handbag I'm going to talk about is the SPEEDY B25 in Damier Ebene from Louis Vuitton, because I had purchased the exact same handbag, the SPEEDY B Damier Ebene, but in the size 30. Oh, my hair is going crazy here. In preparation for becoming a mom. So I have the SPEEDY B25, I have the SPEEDY B30, they're the same print, they're just different sizes. With me becoming a mama too, I decided I'm going to keep the SPEEDY B30 just because I already have enough medium-sized handbags in my collection that I can afford to let go of the 25 despite my love for it. I'm gonna let that one go because it's just too much redundancy in my handbag collection. I really didn't need both. So I kept the larger size for when I do need to carry a lot more things for my kids and myself, and then I just let go of the 25. The second last handbag that I sold is yet another Louis Vuitton handbag. It is the SPEEDY B20 in the Empreinte leather in black. This handbag was such a cute handbag. I fell in love with it when I first saw it in the boutique. I just had to have it because I thought it was the perfect Speedy size because it's not too large. It's like the 25 can be quite large for me, especially if I don't have my kids around with me. But for myself, I wouldn't carry that much on a daily basis to go shopping, to do whatever, because I find that it's a little bit cumbersome. The 20 was a really happy medium size, and it was so cute. I loved that it was full leather compared to all my coated canvas Speedies that I have in my collection. So I bought it. I used it, I'd say for the first year, I loved it. It was great. But then afterwards, I kind of slowly started to stop using it because I found that it was a lot more of a fall winter handbag for myself, and I think after I stopped using it in that year time frame, I kind of never reached for it again. It has these gold hardware, it's gold hardware, and on the crossbody strap there were these two sections at the end of the crossbody straps on either side that was gold chains, which made the handbag a little bit extra heavy. Like the handbag wasn't particularly heavy, but it added extra weight to it, which I felt was unnecessary, and I thought it made the bag a little too dressy for what I wanted it for. So I just kind of slowly stopped using it, and then over time I just kind of looked at it and it didn't bring me the same joy that it did before, so I decided to let it go. We finally made it to the last handbag that I've recently sold, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much for your love and your support. So the last handbag that I've sold that I was really actually on the fence about was my Prada Re-Edition 2005 in the nylon. The main reason why I sold this handbag, and I was, like I said, still on the fence about it, is because it really wasn't being used as much as I wanted it to be. I saw it sat on the shelf all the time, and it just kind of made me sad again because it's just like, you just know it could be used so much more. It is a very carefree handbag. It is in like pristine condition. Like I've used it, but I haven't used it as much as I should have probably because I just have so many other handbags that I can kind of swap in and out of. So there's that reason. Another reason was that I just wanted to kind of sell this bag because I know it's a depreciating bag. Obviously it's Prada. Prada's not known very well for keeping its value in its handbags, especially in the pre-loved market, and I just wanted to kind of get ahead of the game and sell the bag while some people still wanted it, basically, because it's kind of a bag that's had its heyday a few years ago, and now it's really died down. You don't really see many people talking about it anymore. You don't really see the hype around it anymore. I just don't see that love for it as I used to. I'm trying to be savvy about it. I'm trying to kind of disconnect some of my emotions from it, because that was the one bag I bought for my honeymoon to go to Asia in, and so I had some sentimental value around it. But honestly, I'm not a hugely sentimental person, so I tried to detach myself from it as much as possible. Mostly it's because I wanted to get rid of it while I still could for a decent price, honestly. Because the reseller that I use, I've mentioned them multiple times on my channel. They're called Luxe du Jour, and they do take a percentage of your earnings, right? So not only are you selling it for cheaper than retail price that you purchased it at, but now you also have to account for that percentage of fee that they're going to take from you for helping you resell your bag. So I was doing all the math, I was thinking about it logistically. I was like, it just doesn't make sense for me to hang on to this bag, especially if I literally, for the past year, I probably used it 3 times in total. The year before that, maybe 3 times, I think even less. So it's a very carefree bag. It's great for, you know, as a mom, I guess, because it's a nylon bag. It's carefree in that sense, and you can dress it up, dress it down. But at the end of the day, if you're not wearing it, it's just not worth keeping it. So I'm really trying to really curate my collection a little bit more, because my handbag collection, it's a decent size. It's not huge. Like, it's definitely not a huge collection that you see some other YouTubers posting on here. But I would say for me, it's a very healthy sized handbag collection, and it started to get to the point where A, I was running out of storage room, and B, it was becoming overwhelming for me because it's just too many handbags to choose from. Not to mention, again, it made me feel guilty that I saw this handbag that was worth a couple $1,000s sitting in my closet not doing anything for me. So I just decided to let it go. So those are all the handbags that I have sold since my previous filming of the handbags I've sold a couple years ago. If you're interested to see that video, I'll have it linked up in the cards above and maybe in the description bar below as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. But I honestly feel like a huge weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. Every time I sell a handbag, I really don't feel like I regret it. I do think long and hard about it. It just feels so good to know that they're being rehomed somewhere else. I'm getting some money back for things, and it's just clears out my closet and makes me appreciate what I currently own in my collection a lot more without feeling overwhelmed. So if you agree and you feel the same way, let me know. But if you enjoyed today's video, remember to give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing for future content, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!